What's up, LA family? Back again with another video. I'm Lareal.
And I'm Alexis.
One. Okay.
So by now you should have seen our announcement. Your boy is pregnant.
Your girl is pregnant. As you can see, the setting, we sitting down right now. So whenever you see this, just know that, hey, this is our intimate time with our cousins, our families, you know. And I feel like it would have been only right just to share with our people. I think we are in a better place now to speak about this.
Right.
And
I wanted to document more from the first pregnancy.
And yes, you heard it right, the first pregnancy. So with the announcement and everything that you're seeing right now, this is our rainbow baby, number 2, the second baby that we are currently in the process in. Yeah. So hopefully don't want to get confused when she says first pregnancy. Right along with this video, before we even start talking, I wanted, it was just so, the moment, don't get me wrong, the moment now it still feels good, it feels right. But the first time, we were just so happy. And I still remember, I can remember that day like it was just yesterday, just walking into the first, about to get the first ultrasound. Yeah. You know what, better than me just talking about it, we can just show you in this clip right here. One of our first ultrasound, how we feeling? Now I'm about to go to walk in the building for the first time. Everybody ready to do this, bro? Listen, the appointment is at 8 o'clock, but we going here at 8:00. Listen, we COT. If you get it, you get it.
Oh, what's the O?
CPT. Oh. See, listen, it's too early.
So yeah, and you see how I was feeling. News that this will not be a successful pregnancy and everything like that. I'm just taking y'all back to everything that led up to right here. Because I know a lot of women, we don't talk about miscarriages. Sometimes it feels embarrassing and things of that nature, like, you know. And not only could it feel embarrassing, but sometimes you're just grieving in a way where you just really don't want to talk about it. It's not just that it's embarrassing, you just don't really want to talk about it. And that's what kind of happened in the last process. I wanted to bring y'all further along with that because I want to be transparent with y'all with the highs and the lows and everything that comes with this journey. And for me, honestly, at that point, it just got too low that I didn't have it in me to pick up the camera and just show y'all everything. But basically, you can tell from the video that in February 2023, we found out we were pregnant. And we had the ultrasound scheduled for like February 25th. Yep, I think that was that Saturday. And they don't really tell you that it's going badly the day of the ultrasound. So we did the ultrasound on a Saturday, which the doctor wasn't in the office, but the tech, you know, they handle all of that. And that Monday, it
was definitely that following Monday.
That following Monday, we followed up with the doctor. And we thought the appointment went a little bit weird because we were like, we didn't even get photos of the ultrasound. And I was like, you know, no, we've never done this before, but I feel like you definitely should get photos. You definitely will hear like a heartbeat. But nobody said anything in the appointment. So we still not thinking, I'm thinking it's because the doctor isn't in that day. And that's why we didn't really get that experience. So Monday, I'm going thinking I'm gonna get my pictures. Been hear great news. And we just heard that it wasn't going to be a viable pregnancy. It was just heartbreaking. I didn't even return back to work that day. I don't think I would return to work the next day. I was just couldn't believe it. Just absolutely couldn't believe it and disbelief. Praying against it. You know, like, you know, Lord, we don't deserve this. Just turn it around, really asking for a miracle at that point. And anyway, it ended up not being viable. And after that, not only was it not going to be a successful pregnancy, but then I went into this thing of where it's a miscarriage. So my body is not naturally miscarrying this pregnancy.
Right.
So my body is holding on to something that really doesn't exist.
Right. And the proper term for it is called blighted ovum. So if you see it come across the screen, it's called blighted ovum.
Yes.
I never heard of it.
Nope.
Until that moment. I never even knew that was actually possible. And if you don't know what that is, what happened was for the ultrasound, the sac developed. Like literally on the screen, you could see a black hole where the baby should be. Only thing it was just the
sac. There was no baby.
Just the sac itself. It was just completely blank. And you can get done.
Yeah, and I guess they started thinking, well, maybe we tried to do the ultrasound too early. Maybe we haven't maybe you're not as far along pregnant as we think we are, as we think you are based on your last period.
Right.
And so, it was just like, trying to hold on to those little glimpse of hope that it could be something different. We did several ultrasounds that we paid for out of pocket.
Yeah.
It was such an expensive process. We just wanted to be triple, quadruple sure, that this isn't a successful pregnancy before we wrap that in our head.
Right.
But then I went through this whole miscarriage, because they said a lot of women, a blighted ovum is not anything basically abnormal.
Right.
A lot of women have it, especially on their first pregnancy.
Right.
What made it a little bit abnormal was that my body did not, the sac was not passing through naturally on its own.
Right.
And I went through that from the end of February all the way to Easter. And Easter was in April.
Yeah.
In April, my body was still holding on to an empty sac.
It was.
It wasn't until like mid-April, or maybe toward the end of April, that my body finally, very painful experience. I never felt that type of pain in my life, and we ended up going to the emergency room.
We definitely did.
Received terrible service. Not gonna sugarcoat it for y'all.
Yeah.
We were in the emergency room for hours.
we're not gonna call the hospital out now. It's just okay. It's not even.
Yeah, it was just terrible service, and we waited so long to the point that the pain had actually passed through. Like, we had been there for at least 5 hours. At least 5 hours.
Right.
And at least the pain started to subside some, and the very next, we stayed there so long that it was the next day. But later in that morning, my sac passed through. Like, I felt the urge to I felt like I had to go to the bathroom. And it wasn't. It was the sac passing through. So thankfully, I didn't have to go through any type of procedure or anything, which we were thinking we were possibly going to have to do, because the sac was showing no sign of moving.
Right.
But that then became my prayer. My prayer once was that a baby show up in the sac.
Right.
And then once I came to terms with reality that there's no baby in the sac, I just started praying for myself that, like, I've never had a procedure. I've never had a surgery done other than teeth extraction. But I was like, Lord, I don't want to have a procedure. Like, please let it pass through. But by all means, if I needed one, that's what I was gonna do, because I still had to take care of myself.
Right. Right.
So, long story short, we stay optimistic. We turned something what could have been negative into a positive. We still had to ride out that whole journey of grieving, like getting excited, then grieving this pregnancy.
Right.
We had to grieve that pregnancy. We both grieved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we both.
You grieved, I grieved, but we pushed through. We persevered.
We definitely did.
It wasn't always an easy journey. Did we bump heads?
Did we bump heads?
Yes.
I think we bump heads.
I know.
We bump heads.
Yeah.
And if we did, I guarantee it was very seldom.
Yeah.
'Cause I just made sure. Listen, we already had enough on our plate as it was. So I wanted to keep as less friction as possible. My whole job, my whole perspective was at that point was just making sure that you felt like safe, that you felt cared for, that you felt like I was being a team player, a partner.
The saddest thing about it was I couldn't even articulate the words like to come out of my mouth. So I remember texting my mom and my sister in a group message, and I just wrote like an essay to them, almost explaining like I was pregnant. I'm no longer pregnant. This is what's going on with me. My body is not passing through. The stack is not passing through. Like, it's getting a little complicated. I'm to the point where I was going to the doctor like every other day. Remember that? I was going to the doctor like every other day. So I just had a lot going on in life that I kind of sat quiet on and kept to myself. When I say, I mean, of course Lavelle knew, but like my circle, like nobody else knew, because I was holding on to the pregnancy news because I wanted to tell my people in person, you know?
Right.
And then I never got to tell them in person before it all started going bad. So to tell them all this was a lot, but we got through it and we turned a negative into a positive, because what we realized was like, your body, like fertility is not an issue. You have no problem with getting pregnant. And you don't have any cervix issues because your cervix is so strong, your cervix don't want to let go of this sac.
Right.
So we started looking at all the pros, like looking at all the beauty in all of this. You know, perspective is everything. Yeah. Perspective will take you through life, really. Right. When perspective will allow you to turn your lemons into lemonade, as they say. And so I started looking at it that way. And I wasn't gonna rush anything into like trying to get pregnant again or anything. It was just like the first pregnancy happened. It happened when it happened. Right. The next one was going to be, it happens when it happens. Your boy only let me get like one true period before he got me pregnant again. So
man, shoot.
Boy,
told you, call me Lil Steph.
All right. Anyway. But all roads lead to this beautiful journey of just being so excited. When we found out we were pregnant, it was just, it was different this go around. By different, I mean,
before we even step into that, before we talk about take the transition to what we have now, take me back to the moment of your thought process of when you was laying on that hospital bed and hearing those words from your practitioner at the time, saying, hey, I have bad news. What was the first feeling that you had once you heard those words?
I mean, in that type of situation, as soon as she said, I don't even think she said bad news. I think she said not so good news. I think those were her exact words, not so good news. As soon as I heard that, I think I almost went deaf. Right. You know, because I already knew what not so good news meant in this situation. Right. Like, and so I just kind of blanked everybody out. I kept it together the entire time in that office, you know. Right. But I think I made it to the car. Yeah. Before the floodgates open. Right. But no, I think I just blanked out. Right. Like, it was just so unexpected. Right. It was just so, my mind just wasn't there at all of could be or couldn't be. Like, my mind was not there whatsoever. It was just like an innocence, you know, like a kid's innocence is there. And so I just went in so innocently, so optimistic, so hopeful, so naive of that it could be anything but good. Right. That really, there are very few moments where it just seemed like it, you know, takes the ground from underneath me. And that was just one of the ones where I felt like I was almost just falling. Right. You know, like, what? It was just, you know, this was not to make light of it, but y'all know that Mr. Krabs meme, where he's just like, you know, it was really like, you know, like, I can't see, I can't hear, like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Like, surely you're not talking to me. Right. You're not talking about me. You're not talking about this pregnancy. Right. No. How did you feel?
That was one of those moments for me. And it's been quite a few moments that I had. It's only been a few moments in my life where things happened and I just didn't have nothing to say. Yeah. My mind just go blank. And I honestly felt weak in that moment. And I guess that's the only adjective I could just think about right now. Yeah. And I said that because I just knew there was nothing that I could do.
Yeah. I think I was a bit selfish. I felt selfish in the moment because I was going through it and I wanted to ask you how you doing. And I know I did. I know I asked you a few times, like, how are you feeling? But I felt like I really just can't take on how you feeling, you know, right now. Cause I'm so in this, like, right. I'm just so in this, right, and how I feel that I really can't take on how you feel about this right now.
Right.
And this is not the type of wife that I am. I don't consider myself to be a selfish wife. And so to not feel at a capacity where I can even really try to be there for you, but I felt like I'm barely being here for myself. Like, I'm giving myself all I got, and it don't even seem like it's enough. Right. That I couldn't give.
And that's valid emotions.
Yeah.
That's a valid emotion to have.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm not expecting you to have all the answers or have all the strength in that time. I understand that you're not gonna be able to show up 100% ready at all times, and vice versa with myself. There's gonna be some moments, I'm pretty sure, in the future where it's gonna be like, all right, Lord, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I really don't have the energy right now just to deal with nobody. Yeah. I really don't want to take a phone call today. Yeah. I really don't want to text nobody today. I really don't want to look on social media just looking at negativity. It's called life. My biggest thing was making sure that you felt secure in that moment. Yeah. To make sure that you had enough space, enough time to yourself to, like, you know what, to find your confidence, to get your confidence back. I didn't want you to sit there and as humans, we think a lot. We can think a lot, and you could think yourself to a slump, to the point where you start putting an entire load on yourself, thinking like, hey, everything happened because of me. What is it that I've done? Yeah. But to reverse engineer that, you have to look at it as this: what happened during that period, it meant to happen. It was meant to happen. Testaments like that, testimonials like that, it happens for a reason, man. It actually makes a couple stronger. It makes the bond stronger. It actually teaches you a lot about yourself. Yeah. I feel like we carried it well, man. Right. Still have to show up for your business, for your work, for your family, for yourself. It's so easy to just fall on the wayside and just start sucking in your emotions. Right. But the way I looked at it as is this: it could have been worse. Yeah. Somebody does have it worse. Yeah. And it's not us. Right. So with what we had, man, all you have is all you need, and there was each other. Yeah. That's just the way I look at it, and I still choose to look at it to this day. And now we get to celebrate. We do. We get to celebrate right now. And I feel like, man, and I never just knew how common it was. No. Of like having a miscarriage. It's very common in our communities. It was this woman at the doctor's office at the same exact time that we was there. When I was walking out after knowing what I'm knowing now, what we're going through, I wasn't expecting to see anyone, talk to anyone. But as I was walking out, with this woman sitting down to the right on a bench, and she was just happy, just out of the blue. She just started smiling. She was like, "Oh my God, I just seen your wife, and now seeing you. You just don't understand, like, what you guys are doing. It really helped me get through the day. Mm. I just went through a situation of having 2 stillborns." Mm-hmm. And hearing that, that's when I said, man, it could always be worse. And you just never understand it. You never know what a person may be going through, because externally they may look like the most happiest, peaceful person, but you just never know internally the amount of trauma, the amount of sadness. It's a lot of things that people deal with on a day-to-day basis that they keep under their sleeves.
With that being said, I don't think you ever shared that with me. Have you?
If you know what, I don't think I didn't share it at that time. It was just too much going on. Yeah, it was too much going on. I mean,
I could only. I just, my heart goes out to her, and I'm thankful for her being strong enough to share her experiences and be some encouragement to you during that time. And
I respect her, and I just love the situation so much because she felt comfortable enough to share that information with me. So I decided, I say, you know what, if someone can share their information with me like that, I feel like we can do the same thing for our people.
Exactly.
Because the information that we're talking about now, you just never know who may need to hear it, and it's informative.
Exactly. I used to always say this: people need people.
Yes.
Like we were put on this earth for a reason, for a purpose. We all have a purpose, and we need each other.
Right.
You know, no matter how independent, solo we want to be, but people need people.
Yes.
But with that being said, February, when all this is happening, like our our like short form content is like taking off.
Right.
Like this is at this point where it's becoming like part-time career for us. Seriously.
Was. Yes.
So it was just like, you know, we started this thing thinking that we were gonna only do it in December, and that we would just stop. You know, like we just feel like, yeah, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be something fun to do in December.
Right.
But people were expecting stuff from us. They were wanting more from us and stuff like that. And in that case, with this lady, I mean, she was at the point where she almost needed this to, you know, be of some entertainment, some encouragement, but. Where I would say, like, that could have been one of the most exhausting times in my life, trying to push through to still give content when we were going through what we were going through. I'll say that, like, I needed y'all, and I'm grateful for y'all because you had an expectation from me, and you needed or wanted something from me, and that got me off the couch. Like that kept me from being as low as I could have been. It kept me from being in a rut. You know, I had my moments where I was on the couch, don't get me wrong, but I had that moment where you got to get up and do this, and it kept me going. Like even when I truly, in retrospect, I didn't feel like it, but it kept me going, and before I knew it, I was coming out of this. I was like overcoming it. So for that, I thank y'all. I thank y'all for supporting us, following us, because like y'all didn't know what we were going through behind the camera, but y'all don't know how helpful y'all were being
during that period
for us, you know. I remember, I don't mind sharing this now, but like back in January, which I probably was already pregnant, somebody left a mean comment and it tore me up. Somebody left a mean comment and I was probably already pregnant. So it did a number on me than what comments would normally do. Quite frankly, I don't even normally go to, you know, I try to find the ones that are, you know, worthwhile. But I don't know, in February, I don't think I was seeing it, or or maybe God was protecting me and shielding me from that stuff because he just knew you going through something, like you may get yourself canceled, girl. But I just thank y'all for the positivity. Like y'all were really supporting us, just like telling us to keep going. Y'all telling us y'all need to be on YouTube and stuff like that. And y'all were being some motivated.
You guys watching the video, actually the camera ended up dying. We're currently about to eat our taco salad, so.
Yes, thank you for just being on this journey with us. We appreciate it so much.
Yes.
And look forward to so much more with you guys.
The conversation wasn't as, I mean,
it's life.
It's life.
And this is our life. This is LA family.
It's the LA family. So you're part of the family. So
it comes with being part of the family.
Part of the family. We had the conversation. Hope you enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully we brought some awareness to the conversation.
Hopefully we brought some awareness. I won't say it was like the most enjoyable thing to have, but hopefully it brought some awareness and just shine a little light as to behind the scenes of our life.
Thank you guys for watching.
See you in the next one.